7 Craziest People of All Time. 7. An American Trapper. Hugh Glass was an American trapper and lived between 1783 to 1833. There are only a few historical records that were made during his lifetime, and so much of his life is a total mystery. This man was best known for one tragic incident, though lonely and isolated in the wilderness of the Rocky Mountains. The fur hunter survived a terrible bear ambush. The female grizzly bear traveling with her cubs ambushed Glass and seriously injured him with the last of his strength. He would survive the ambush, and it seems safe to assume that he didn't plan to survive either. After this, his team of hunters left him behind. With a broken leg and many other wounds, he defied the cold, hunger and harsh nature that surrounded him and went back to civilization. 6. The most lethal sniper in the world. A battle raged between Finland and the USSR, and a sniper who played a special role during the conflict. He was Simo Häyhä from Finland. The Red Army only called him White Demise, because he always ambushed when the enemy least expected it, and he was always well camouflaged. Häyhä executed more than 500 USSR soldiers with a repeating rifle in his unit. He was considered the best sniper of all time. He thus holds the world record for being the most accomplished sniper soldier in world. 5. The Apache Chief. Almost everyone has heard the name Geronimo, but very few people know who this person was and why he played an important role in the history of North America. He was born in 1829, under the name Gokhlia, because he was always very tired and sleepy. Many years later he would take on the name of Geronimo. His parents were Apaches and were brutally executed when he was still a small child. The incident left him devastated, and his hatred and anger grew, and the desire for revenge and resistance grew ever greater. Many battles followed, with him fighting against the enemies of his country who wanted to finish the Native American tribes who lived there. His strong will for freedom and justice for Native Americans made him a legend in the history books of many natives. 4. A Marine with 2 awards. The Boxer Rebellion was a serious conflict between China and the United States and occurred at the beginning of the 20th century. This dark chapter in history is believed to have executed up to 130,000 Chinese civilians. An American Marine received 2 high-ranking honors for his commitment and his loyalty to the homeland. Daniel Daly held the position alone on a bastion, although he was repeatedly fired at and felt as though the fate of his life was hanging in the balance. Not once backing down from the enemy, for this lethal mission, he received the highest honor of the American government. 3. Canadian Soldier. Leo Major was only 19 years old when he joined the Canadian Armed Forces in 1940. The young man impressed his unit with his courage to fight against the Germans in WW2. Although he was severely injured and previously wounded by a landmine, no one could stop Major's thirst for action and revenge. He managed to liberate the Dutch city of Zwolle single-handedly. For this he was honored with a very high award after the conflict. 2. The Mongol Warrior. Genghis Khan is definitely one of the most extraordinary people in human history. The Mongol was an important warrior and founded the well-known Mongol Empire. Born around 1155, his original name was Temujin. In the Middle Ages, the Mongols were known as horsemen who went to battle with thousands of horses and fighters. Under Genghis Khan's rule, tribes were united and large parts of Central Asia were conquered with ease from 1206 to 1227. He was the first man to rule over all Mongols and won further victories that reached as far as the Sea of Japan. 1. The Chinese Pirate. Pirates were one of the most fearsome groups of people up until the 19th century. These relentless warriors knew no mercy and were legendary for the raids that would see them steal immeasurable amounts of goods and valuables. What is lesser known is that certain women would also instill fear into the hearts of some seafarers. The Chinese Zheng Yao, who was better known as Qing Shi, was considered the queen of pirates and was one of the most feared historical figures of her time. She was a former escort who married a Chinese pirate leader in 1801. After his demise, she took command herself and sailed with her fleet across the South China Sea. She fought against Spaniards, English and Portuguese. This woman led an empire of over 800 ships and had a crew of around 100,000 men, women and children.